Georgia Senators Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff have pushed their caucus for speedy action on a stimulus package. Remember guys that Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock both won the January runoff elections on the promise of a Democratic Senate passing another round of direct payments.
As it relates to the reproductive rights. I'm sorry you had to stand in the cold.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you guys. You're working at this. We're trying to put out our legislature.
We got a lot to do, and the first thing I got to do is get this COVID package passed.
I'll be announcing the winner of the free $100 Amazon gift card. I've already announced several winners in the past week, so if you want to win this gift card, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, give this video a like, and leave me a comment down below telling me whether or not you support a third round of stimulus checks.
John, this is another disappointing development of Joe Biden after preaching unity last week, immediately empowering Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to go it along. As you said, we passed multiple bills last year, starting in March with the CARES Act, finishing up in late December, that spent trillions of dollars to give needed relief to the American people and fund the record development of so many vaccines, help schools stay open or get back open as the case may be. We're happy to work together on a bipartisan bill that would actually address those needs, that would make sure that vaccines are getting distributed, that schools are staying open. What we don't want to see is a trillion-dollar bill, multi-trillion-dollar bill, that is really just going to fund a lot of long-standing Democratic priority.
Warnock and Ossoff spoke with Democrats and the White House economic advisors and described the pledge for more stimulus checks as pivotal to their respective victories. In other words, the two Georgia senators are pushing for more stimulus checks. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is your stimulus check update and stimulus package update.
Washington has a choice to make. In fact, all of us have a choice to make. Will we continue to divide, distract, and dishonor one another? Or will we love our neighbors as we love ourselves? Will we play political games while real people suffer? Or will we win righteous fights together, standing shoulder to shoulder, for the good of Georgia, for the good of our country? Will we seek to destroy one another as enemies, or heed the call towards the common good, building together what Dr. King called the beloved community?
Do you believe that you say reconciliation is a backstop, that you'd rather have a bipartisan bill?
Yes, always.
It sounds like you're not optimistic that will happen. Is that a correct?
Well, we have to be ready. I do think that we have more leverage getting cooperation on the other side if they know we have an alternative as well. But I would think if we're talking about additional funding for vaccines to be, and their not in production but their distribution, if we're talking about putting money into the pockets of the American people with the direct payments, if we're talking about supporting state and local government so that they're able to implement all these things, open our schools, our healthcare workers, our police and fire first responders, our teachers, transportation, sanitation, food workers. I would hope that the Republicans would be supportive of that.
More than 160 million Americans received a stimulus payment worth of $1,200 or double for couples last year. And a second round of payments began going out in January, and that was worth around $600. And the good news is that this money is not taxed. With the upcoming tax season coming up, the payments were technically in advance on a 2020 tax credit. The 2020 tax return will allow people to claim more money if they did not receive the full amount that were due. The stimulus payments were based on either 2018 or 2019 income, and the IRS is adding a recovery rebate credit worksheet to the 2020 tax return forms to help taxpayers determine if they are eligible for more money. Now, if you did not get a second stimulus check or even a first stimulus payment, here's what you need to know. There are an estimated 8 million people who have still missed out on the stimulus checks because they are not normally required to file taxes and the IRS has no way of reaching them. Here's what you need to know. The online portal that allowed them to input their bank account information is no longer available, but you can still file a 2020 return to receive the money. tax is owed on unemployment benefits. Congress has increased weekly payments by $300 through mid-March, on top of state benefits. Last year, the unemployed received a weekly boost of $600 for 4 months. Lawmakers also expanded unemployment benefits to more Americans, including the self-employed, independent contractors, and gig workers. Like state unemployment benefits, the federal payments are subject to income tax. Some people may have chosen to withhold taxes from the benefits when they enrolled for unemployment with their state's agency, but others may owe the full tax amount when they file the 2020 return. Now folks, it's just really important that you guys know that information. And for more unemployment news, Kansas is set to shut down unemployment system to deal with fraud. Thousands of fraudulent unemployment claimants are prompting Kansas to shut down its processing system this week, meaning some jobless workers will have payments delayed as the state installs new anti-fraud protections. Governor Kelly acknowledged that fraudulent claims may have helped fuel a recent surge of filings for benefits. The Democratic governor's announcement came shortly after GOP lawmakers said they will push to protect employers from being forced to cover the costs of fraudulent claims in ex-employees' names. They said the State Department of Labor does not have a handle on the problem and that they have not gotten enough data or answers. That states won't pay benefits during that period, but will work to catch up on claims when the system is back up.
$2 trillion package. We can't afford not to do it. Take a look at what happened this year or last year alone. $billion weather disasters. We had 22 events that were at least either weather or climate related events that were at least $1 billion worth of damage. 10 severe weather events in August that derecho caused $11 billion in damage across the Midwest. That was part of $27 billion. We had 3 tornado outbreaks that caused $7 billion in damage. The April outbreak produced 140 plus tornadoes from Texas to Maryland. And we talk about those tropical systems.
Advisors to former President Trump and George W. Bush. And so I've been meeting all morning with other folks as well. The notion here is we have to act now. There's no time for any delay. And so we could end up with 4 million fewer jobs this year, according to Moody's, a Wall Street firm, and it could take a year longer to return to full employment if we don't act and don't act now. We could see an entire cohort of kids with a lower lifetime earnings because they're deprived of another semester.
Vaccine rollout, and employers hoped for additional financial support from Congress. And the latest claims report showed that the total amount of Americans receiving unemployment benefits actually rose, jumping to 18.28 million. An increase of 2.29 million from the prior week. And for FPUC, well, according to unemploymentpua.com, the PUA extension is set through March 14th, as well as the PUC extension through March 14th. That is all the news.